Alrighty, well, I thought I'd do a quick video. I got the inside of the hole welded in the front, so I could start working on the deck. Looks pretty bad from the outside. Anyway, I'm not, welding's not going great for me. I'm confident with it, but not impressed and proud, so I ended up on those inside corners essentially doing 3 beads, one down the middle, and then at a higher heat doing the other 2 over it. Anyway, so as you can see right here, this is where it sits right now. This was here before. It was probably in a different video. I just didn't want to go back through it, but essentially, I'm not going to square up. I'm obviously going to have to cut some pieces and fill, which I guess will have a little different look than your typical 3.8 watts craft, and it's probably a couple inches longer. Anyway, so this is where I was at on the dash, which, with this side butted up. I can square up the front and make that gap pretty even though the boat's still a little bit twisted in the front. But this side, like that, the other side's, got a pretty good gap, 3/4 of an inch or better. So, that's definitely a fill situation, and my dash is going to be crooked. I kind of knew that before. It's irritating, but ultimately, whatever. At this point, it's just hack this thing together. Not necessarily hack it together, but it's kind of how you feel when you're just dealing with something that's just not right and it bugs you. But anyway, ain't gonna be right. It's gonna be what it is. I just want to get this hole together and get it running, and hopefully this year. But so essentially, got to cut off that extra. It's all welded up. I wasn't going to make the extra effort to try and squeeze it out. That was part of the whole twisted hole thing, where it just wasn't going to be right. So anyway, and when you're building these, even with a well-bent kit and everything's going the way it's supposed to, and I assume it does on kits that are bent well, there is a tendency for the boat wanting to narrow as you're assembling all the panels, and that's something you have to kind of fight the whole way. I never saw any front to back dimensions, like from tip to transom, given to give you an idea of how it's going as you go along, adding each section of these panels. There's not really a length. I don't think they give the length, unless I'm wrong. I'm kind of done with the instructions because that boat sailed a long time ago. It's not an instruction job anymore. So otherwise, I'd just be, peeling out this panel, just stretching it out to match this one. It would all line up, and I'd be ready to weld. So anyway, if you end up with the good thing is I'm still level front to back, and that was my hang up, I guess, was where's the twist, on the top or the bottom, and if I left the twist in the top, maybe the hood would have fit better, but it's like whatever, the looks part of it's kind of like out of my head now. So I'm sure once all the external seams are welded and buffed out and whatnot, it'll be fine. But plan is to get that hood fitted. It's going to take a little while. I've got a couple hours after work every night. It took me 2 nights just to weld the inside of that hole. Partially because I'm not that great of a welder. It's a new welder to me. I was constantly making adjustments, trying to figure out how much heat to use, and as you get started, then you got too much heat. Preheating, trying to see how much preheat can I get and get a consistent weld. you know, and how much to heat, how fast the heat goes away. And it does go away pretty quick. And, you know, when you're in the 40s, temperature wise, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So, you know, I don't know if it'd go any better if you were in the 70s or 80s, you know, but 40 degrees higher metal temperature would probably bode a little bit better. But, you know, not exactly a heated shop. So anyway, that's where I'm at. When I get the deck done, you know, I guess I'm gonna have to just look at it and see, well, do I finish welding the back hole? Should I get should I start working on the transom cut out and mounting the intake again? You know, all that's pretty much set now to the right angle for the intake, but you know, there was height issues. I was gonna raise it a little more if I could. You know, kind of have to get my head back in all that. It would almost be kind of nice to get the carriage for the motor mounting built and ready to drop in with the intake mounted where it's going to be mounted. Obviously I have to do the intake first, match the motor up to it. You know, that's going to take quite a while because that's going to be, every little piece is going to be custom built, and you know, to somehow carriage that motor and fit the, you know, the engine bearers and all that stuff and match up to the intake. So, you know, I would say that's the next biggest part, probably the biggest part of this whole project at this point. Everything else seems minimal compared to that. So anyway, working on the plan. Later.